Welcome to the deep dive. We know many of you have been following the situation in Haiti, and some recent events really bring the complexities into sharp focus.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a tough situation unfolding.
We're going to look today at how the ongoing, well, Pat, the gang violence and instability are having these wider ripple effects.
And a really clear example, like you said, is Royal Caribbean. They've suspended cruises again to their private destination, Labadee.
Exactly. We've got news reports detailing the economic fallout, the security concerns. So our aim here is to sort of unpack what this crisis really means, maybe go a bit beyond the headlines.
Definitely. And it's not just a one-off thing with Royal Caribbean. This is the second time they stopped going to Labadee in, what, less than a year?
That's right. The last pause ended only back in September.
And you have to think about the impact on the ground. I mean, those Haitian vendors, they really rely on the income from those cruise ship visits. It's vital for them.
It really is. And it's interesting because Labadee itself in the north isn't seeing the same level of violence as, say, Port-au-Prince.
True. But the cruise line, they cited an abundance of caution, which, you can understand.
Yeah, especially when Haiti's transitional government had just declared that nationwide state of emergency, right? Running from April 8th through May 8th.
And there were those U.S. Embassy alerts, too, warning about potential violent protests.
Right. So even if Labadee itself is relatively calm, that broader instability, those warnings, it creates a risk. Businesses have to react.
It's a calculation, isn't it?
Yeah.
And the calculation means those local communities lose out, at least temporarily.
And it's not just impacting sea travel. What about air travel? That's seen a massive hit, too.
Oh, absolutely huge. The figures are quite stark. Last year, Haiti saw fewer than 180,000 airline passengers.
Wow, 180,000 compared to
It's over 1 million back in 2018.
1 million down to 180,000. That's staggering.
It really is. And the reasons are, well, pretty clear.
Airlines canceling flights, obviously. And wasn't there an FAA ban?
Yes. The FAA banned U.S. jetliners from landing at Toussaint Louverture Airport in Port-au-Prince because of the gang violence right near the airport.
So the country is becoming increasingly isolated, and that has to have economic consequences beyond just, tourism dollars.
Definitely. Think about the government's finances. There was talk of a war budget funded partly by tax revenues.
Okay.
Well, when that cruise ship revenue just vanishes, that directly impacts the funds available for, well, anything, including security efforts.
And the air travel too, right? Doesn't Haiti have quite high taxes on flights?
It does, yeah. Around $100 for the airline ticket tax, plus a $10 tourist tax for people not born in Haiti.
So with passenger numbers plummeting like that?
Exactly. That's a huge amount of potential tax revenue just gone. Money that could theoretically support that war budget or other essential services. It becomes a vicious cycle.
And sadly, it's not just economics. The violence itself, while we hear most about Port-au-Prince.
Right. It's been spreading. Reports indicate it's moving into central Haiti now.
Which leads to a humanitarian crisis, surely. People displaced.
Yes, a very serious one. Displaced populations. Disruption to basic services. It's a grim picture in some areas.
Is the international community stepping up?
There's been some response. The U.S. State Department, CARICOM, that's the Caribbean community, the U.K., France, they've all issued warnings.
Warnings to who? The gangs?
Yeah, warnings against destabilizing the new transitional government. And they've talked about committing to sanctions as well.
Okay, so some diplomatic pressure.
Yeah.
But does that translate on the ground? The fear must be intense.
It seems so. There was even a protest planned in Port-au-Prince recently that got called off.
Why?
Because of a threat of attack. A credible one, apparently.
Wow. So people can't even gather safely to voice their concerns. That really tells you something about the climate of fear.
It really does. It just
Actually.
highlights how fragile and dangerous the whole situation is right now.
Yeah, you can really see the connections, can't you? The security fears hit the cruises.
Which hits the local economy and government revenue.
The flight cancellations add to that isolation and economic pain.
And all of this just makes the underlying humanitarian problems even worse. It's all interconnected.
So wrapping up this deep dive, it leaves you thinking, doesn't it? We focused on Labadee, this specific tourist spot. But when communities become so dependent on these quite specific, maybe niche forms of tourism, what happens long term when that rug gets pulled out by wider instability?
Yeah. What are the alternatives? How do you build resilience?
Exactly. What other paths could be explored to support these places when their main lifeline is so vulnerable to disruption? Something important to consider for sure.